Plugging you back in. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so good morning. I literally opened my eyes at 8:45, 15-ish minutes ago, and I was like, uh-oh, uh-oh. So that is my Monday. Hi, Allison. I love that too. Yeah. So this is my first sip of coffee, and oh my God. I'd like to think this is the first time I've done that. Well, I mean, I think this is pretty this was me cutting it pretty close, waking up 15 minutes ago. Do I look like that? Can you tell? I did slap some eyeliner on. It fixes everything. Damn. I feel like I'm completely hungover right now. I've got a headache and everything, and I have not had a drop of alcohol. Good morning, everyone. Oop, hi, Caress. Hi, Janelle. Who else did I miss here? Glad to know I can still go live on Instagram because we're a little spicy over the weekend. They're really cracking down on a lot of things. Oh well. Hi, Anna. So, hey, Beth. How are you? Are you rolling into this week like me, or did you wake up when you needed to this morning without a hangover? Oh, energy hangover. Must be this full moon, huh? 1 to 10, friends, how are you feeling? With 1 being a roadkill and 10 being a fully animated creature. Fully animated, caffeinated creature. How are we feeling? Good morning, Melissa. Oh, 6 and a 9, and 3 and a 4. All right. Looks like we're heading into mixed bag territory. About a 6, very May. 5, okay, 8-ish. 7. Well, thank God we have workshop this week, huh, ladies? Maggie's feeling a 4, Vera's a 2. Caress is 6 and definitely feeling a bit hungover. Yeah, it's me. It's me. How freaking cute is my mug, though? Oh my God. It's a gourd. Okay, so I'm picking up what you're putting down. We are a mixed bag this morning. All right. And somehow we are in the last few days of November, which is really wild. That means it's not November anymore, which is just crazy to me. I can't even. Okay. Oh my God, what? You sprained both your ankles? Ah, what the heck? I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, well, let's talk about the energy because holy shit, right? Um, it's full moon in Gemini today, actually. So how convenient that we are gathered here discussing things together. Um, we are in Sagittarius season. You may have felt what felt like a false start with some Sagittarius energy, and then you dropped right back down. And I have to tell you, that's going to keep happening. And here's why. The world is kind of ending right now, and there's some serious, serious collective turmoil happening. And that is probably the most, what is the word? I can't understated. It's the most understated statement I could make about it. It's fever pitch level and it's getting higher and higher and higher. Over last week I had a few one-on-one clients that asked me like what how do we like what how do we handle this? Like what do we do with this energy? And, I don't have an overall answer for you as far as like, oh, just do this, this, and this, and you'll be aces. Because we've never done this before. But here's what I do know. We've been preparing for it. That is what I do know. Diligently. Some of us very diligently. And a lot of you have been here with me diligently preparing for this. It is a real son of a bitch when you say things like, well, things are going to be really shitty for a lot of people for months and months and months, and then it actually happens. That's it's a hard thing to accept, but we have to push through on the other side and figure out what are we doing. I think it is important to honor your feelings and give yourself space to grieve. Think it's important to honor your privilege. Think it's important to stay in your heart and have human empathy. Because really, I think that's the thing we're missing. That's the part we're missing as a species right now. It's just regular human empathy. Like, oh, that looks like it hurts. I wouldn't want that to happen to you. Plain and simple. I don't even think it needs to get more complicated. I've had so many people tell me that I'm not educated enough on fucking foreign politics to have an opinion on what is happening in the world right now. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You think I need to read a book to know that all of this is not okay? Do you think that reading a book would make me think it is okay? Because that also makes books sound terrifying. So I don't really know what that argument is besides bullshit. I'm tired of everyone's bullshit. I'm tired of everybody, honestly. I mean, I'm not tired of you, unless I am. But come on, right? It's what are we even talking about? So that collective energy is not going anywhere. And previously, when we've had collective energy, that has been really a big bummer, right? We kind of wait it out and find some way to like transmute and like rise above and like whatever else we do. But it's different now because we kind of have to take that energy and start moving it in a different direction because we don't want to stay here, right? We don't want to stay here. This is crazy. Everyone's crazy. It reminds me of on a very small scale years ago when a certain reality television star was elected president of this country, and everyone was like, "How did that happen?" And then we sat back and watched as like everyone started saying the quiet parts out loud and you found out that like your next door neighbors are actually like really racist, but they like you because you're good brown people. Like, stuff like that. And if you think that didn't happen, what are you doing here? Right? Because that happened every day, like to me, right? So imagine other people. And it was like really a lot of cognitive dissonance around that and a lot of trauma because it's like people you have known for a long time turns out like in another life they were carrying pitchforks and they really remember that and they identify with it. So it really showed who people are and what they believe in. And it's not even about the politics of it, is it? It's again, it's about the empathy of it. It's like you would allow your system of belief to say that one person's life is more valuable than another person's life, right? Due to their skin color, their religion, where they happen to live on the globe, their economic status. Like the list goes on and on and on. We love sorting people and then saying who's better and who's not. We've learned that you can't buy class and you can't buy empathy and you can't buy your heart. So money is kind of useless in those areas. So we have a lot of people with money and terrible black hearts. So anyway, I'm in a mood. It turns out I didn't know because I just woke up, but this is the mood I'm in now. Um, so it's really enough already, right? So and we are in this for the long haul. We know that. Do you remember back when we were doing channeling more often? And I feel like I said to you guys, you're doing your healing now. Not everybody is waking up at the same time, but you're doing your healing now. You are doing your work now in this particular wave so that later when another wave wakes up, you can be there to help them. You can be there to support because you did it already and you know what needs to be done. That's what's happening. So continue on with your healing, please. Don't stop, right? Because we need that. Do you know how collectively traumatized we all are now? Like, did you even consider that? So many people were traumatized from witnessing on television a plane exploding into a building when they were a teenager on television. Think about that. That was considered a collective trauma for my generation. What is the collective trauma going to be for the generation that watched a child get shred to pieces on a live stream, right? These are all things that are now in the timeline, and a lot of us have seen them. A lot of us have seen them. A lot of young people have seen them, and we needed to because this is really happening. But what I'm saying is, it's going to be a lot of work to do with that, and we are preparing for that now. We are releasing our generational trauma and all of our icks so that we can have space to hold space for others later. So we do have to continue that. I feel strongly about it, but we're just going to have to ride the ups and downs of this together because it is going to be up and down. Which brings us to this full moon. It is the full moon in Gemini. Now, Gemini is an air sign, and you might think, whoa, an air sign in fire season. That sounds chaotic. And you would be sort of right. It's chaotic in the mind. Gemini is concerned with thoughts, not necessarily feelings, and not just one thought, many thoughts. Endless thoughts in all directions, a think tank, if you will. Okay. And Gemini energy is, well, okay, let me ask you this. Have you heard of this term called sapiosexual? I feel like most of you have for some reason, but it's basically a person who is turned on by mental stimulation, by the connection of intellects, right? Typically, if I am looking at someone's chart and they have their Mars in Gemini. I know, ready? Mars in Gemini. Um, that's going to be a person who is attracted, like sexually attracted, their passions incited by somebody who stimulates their mind first, right? It's like they've got to. The other thing about Gemini energy and this whole vibe is that there has to be a level of intellect that makes them feel like you're a little bit smarter than them almost. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a challenge to the brain. So we are now in this energy of a full moon that is a very sapiosexual full moon, right? And is also interested in thinking about everything that's going on. So it could be, especially if you're inclined towards Gemini type energy, could be a little bit of an overwhelming energy for you because your brain, which is likely classified as ADHD or on the spectrum, neurodivergent, whatever, is going to go faster than the fast it already goes, right? So you're just like, boom, 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 boom. What do you do with that? What do you do when your brain starts to just domino in 8 different directions? For this full moon, I think you should just let it. You not feel like you have to come up with an end solution to this, and just know that for a lot of us, our brains are kind of recategorizing a lot of things. It's almost like there's somebody in there in all of the files, just like making a huge mess, getting rid of things we don't need and putting things in new order. Okay. So if you're feeling that sensation, just know like things are changing. Remember on Friday, I said to kind of think about this weekend, the way that your brain works differently than it used to. Now we're in the energy of things are going to recategorize themselves a bit. And that's good. We need that. It's going to be great. Oh my God, my head is going to explode. Hmm. So that is your a little bit of Gemini full moon thoughts for you today. Let's get to the cards. I almost forgot what I was doing this morning. I almost like, do you remember back when I used to do the full moon stuff, full moon and new moon? I almost thought I was doing that. Like my muscle memory was in there and I forgot I was doing coffee and magic. So you just got a little bit of a full moon ritual started. And we're stopping it. We're doing cards. I'm going to give you three things. And you, oop, I'm looking at, nope. I'm going to give you three things and you choose which one of those three things is resonating most with you this morning. That'll correspond to the card that you get. Hi, Amber. Ah, people are always pressing the wrong button. I know Instagram makes you do that, but I don't think you want to go live with me. Yeah, we have a lot of sapiosexuals on the live today. Get it. Okay. What are the three things we're gonna do? Hmm. How about trees? We haven't done trees in a long time. All right, here are your three trees: willow, birch. Oh my goodness, willow, birch, and elm. Willow tree, birch tree, and elm. Thank you for the rose. Did you, Edith? Did you do that? I got you. Oh, all three trees for you. Willow, birch, and elm. No, TikTok says that some of the comments in my live were filtered to protect the community's experience. I wonder. I wonder. Are you sure, Jen? It sounds like you might need to listen to them all now. I know. TikTok is kind of like, I mean, I haven't seen anybody saying anything super TikTok-y this morning, but sometimes they're like, "Oh, can I suck your feet?" Or, "Jesus is here to save and you need saving. Lay down your cards," or, whatever, stuff like that. But not Instagram, TikTok never censors those. That's why I'm kind of suspicious about the censoring. I'm getting censored for basically sharing anything that has to do with Palestine or Gaza. Those words are now have been updated in the Instagram filters and the TikTok filters to be terrorist language, like supporting terrorism. That was a violation I got, that I was supporting terrorism. So that's where we live. That's where we live now. But it's fine to make a dupe of my account and message people who think they're following me and prey upon them and ask them for money. That's okay. We're allowed to do that. You can ask me if I want you to suck my feet during my live video. That's okay too. But heaven forbid, you know, heaven forbid we have an opinion that is not aligned with this place. Oh my God, I'm so irritated. I'm spicy and I have a headache. All right. Willow tree, birch tree, elm tree. But remember, Facebook is also Instagram, so they connected. So when they messed with my Instagram stuff, it translated over to my Facebook page, and I got a slap on the wrist over there too. So they don't let me put anything in my stories now from TikTok at all. Yes. Krista says, I love seeing people hack the algorithm saying things like thanks for the travel tips. Have you guys noticed that? Basically, if you want to boost a post about Palestine or Gaza, and you're like, oh, what do I say? You say something completely unrelated and with 5 or more words, which helps boost the algorithm. So just something to note. Something stupid like, Wow, I had the best sushi there. Thank you so much for the tips, stuff like that. TikTok is, I mean, I have to say, like, it's one of the reasons why I'm not like spiraling down into a deep depression about humanity because everybody on TikTok is so fucking lit. You know what I mean? Like, amazing. You know what? I have to say one more thing. I am waking up just now, like literally. I had one thing I wanted to share with you before I get to these cards. Last week was really depressing for me, and I had a lot of emotions up and down. But one thing that happened for me is that I realized that you know, first generation brown girl here, had a lot of internalized Islamophobia. And it shocked me to like witness it come out, right? And I was thinking to myself, shit, like if I have it, um, imagine we all probably have it because it's so deeply ingrained in our systems, right? I had a program that told me that um, basically that anything related to Islam and Muslim is oppressive to women. I had that in my brain, and not in my brain, but in my program. It wasn't in my brain. I would never say that. I would never like think it, but it was inside of me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like is in there. It was not on the first level or the second level or the third level. It was deeper, which is even more terrifying, right? Because it takes a minute to get that out. And I would say that it's absolutely horrifying that it would take witnessing a genocide in live time to pull that out. But my God, let it be pulled out for once and all, right? And I found that watching creators on TikTok educate on so many different facets of, um, the Palestinian history and the Muslim culture and Islam, all of those things that I have absorbed over the past month and a half have left me feeling so much more human, right? And have calmed that part of me down that ripped all of that out. And I don't feel it anymore. And it feels like, oh, like what a relief. I didn't even know it was there, but like what a relief to no longer look at an entire group of people as less than me for reasons I don't even know, for reasons that were handed to me on a silver platter and manipulated into my consciousness, right? And I think that's the work a lot of us are doing right now. And I hope that you let yourself do it and that you don't feel ashamed about it, right? I hope that you feel that it is the most honorable thing you can do to identify the places where you have internalized racism, right? And pull it out and speak out about it and say it because the more that we do, the less it has any oxygen to exist, right? Because this is, again, it's like the quiet part out loud. It's like all of my neighbors who would say things to me like, "Well, Sarah, you're just like us. You're a coconut. You're brown on the outside and white on the inside," as if that's fucking good, right? And I'm sitting there like this is obviously a while ago, but like so confused. And um we need to not do that anymore. So let it pull that ugliness out of you and let yourself heal and educate yourself. And it doesn't stop with Palestinians. It doesn't stop with learning about any of that, right? This is one part that we need to unlearn. How many of us have so much internalized racism when it comes to any country in Africa? Like, come on. There's no way you don't. There's genocide going on there too. We're not seeing as much coverage of that because those are Black people, okay? And that has to be addressed, right? So we don't stop here, but we are only a person, right? And we are like this close to exploding at any point in time. So we just have to keep going. So we just have to keep going and know, right, that being a white Christian is not the apex of humanity. One could argue it's kind of the opposite at this point, right? So anyway, back to the cards. Back to the cards. What did I say? Willow, birch, and elm. spicy trees. If you're just joining, your choices are willow, birch, and elm. This is going to be willow. And drop your selections in the comments. Okay. No, you're like, ready. All right. So this is willow. You've got risk, the cat, and movement. Oh. All right. Risk, the cat, and movement. I'm like giving myself indigestion. It's okay. So risk, the cat, and movement, my willow friends. Holy hell. Okay. So, so once again, some of you are actually physically moving. For others, this is a mindset shift of massive fucking proportions, okay? When I say that, I want to be clear, I mean massive. This means like um if it's not a physical move, it's literally like something in your life has fundamentally changed and it's changing the way you do life, okay? That's what the movement is here. We're in a space where it's already movement. It's risk, cat, and movement. We're in a space where the movement part of this is already like very much has happened already. So you should know what that is by now, I think. Either you're moving, or like you are not living the same way anymore. Okay. Once that happens, like once the actual shift happens with that, where like you moved or like this mindset shift has happened, there is this period of time where you're right now, like where you're just like, and you forget to exhale because you're just like, everything's different. And I, I don't know. I don't know if I should be here. I can't go back. Can I go back? Like, is it safe? Like, just all of these, like, like just the feelings of what happens when you completely uproot yourself from everything that you know. And like, especially if it's in your brain, right? Because then you feel unsafe in your own self. Okay. Just remember, friendos, that this is not going to stay this way because nothing ever does, right? So it'll move. It'll move. And I'm not even going to tell you that there's a lesson in this moment for you because not every moment of uncomfortability has a fucking lesson to it. Sometimes it's just uncomfortable, right? It is what it is. I have a headache right now. Is there some like massive spiritual reason for my headache? Not really. I mean, I'm probably dehydrated because I'm like the thirstiest bitch you've ever met. That's probably why my head hurts. Like sometimes it's not mystical. Sometimes it's very much just what it is. Okay. So sometimes you have a shitty moment. Let it be shitty. Let it be uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be like this magnum opus about your life. Sometimes it just is what it is. At the same time, we are connecting this to a massive shift. So it's okay if you feel uncomfortable. The cat is here to remind you about something that is kind of integral to your experience moving forward forever. We want to be more like cats. Take up your space like a cat. I don't even need to have a lecture with you about boundaries. Just pretend you're a cat. If you're like wandering around in your life right now and you're like, how do I react to this? Ask yourself what a cat would do. You know, for some people, when it comes to like working in business and stuff, I'm like, ask yourself, what would a white man do? And go with that, right? Because that'll lean you in the right direction because it will lead you towards a place of delusion and self-confidence that is only privileged to white men. And then you'll be able to just do what you want to do, right? But what would a cat do in this case? Okay. Would the cat take a nap? Would the cat ignore everybody and do whatever the fuck it wants to do? I don't know. What would your cat do? Just in this space, What does your inner cat need? And just remember, this is not going to last. Nothing ever does. So if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes, okay? That is your willow. So we're willow, oh my God, willow, birch, and elm. Yeah, it works. So birch and elm. Birch is up next. If you're just joining, that was willow. If you missed it, you could watch it again if you want on my Instagram or on YouTube after we finish. All right, tell me when you're ready for birch. I do need to drink water today. My body is saying that I do. Coffee doesn't count. I don't think you can wave back, Claudia. Isn't that weird? Like, I can wave to you, but I don't think you can wave back. Bye, Nelly. Um, but welcome back. I hope your trip was great. All right, this is your birch. You're ready. I've been verbose this morning. It's like I started slow because I was asleep, and then I like woke up all of a sudden, and then I was like, wow, right? That's what happened. Okay, here's your birch. Frog, spider, truth. Okay. All right, let's see what it is today. Frog, spider, and truth. Okay. So, starting with the frog. Do you know this one? Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I'm just going to say it because it's what's coming through. There's stuff in your space, like actual things that you're keeping because you're not a minimalist. And the way I'm saying it like that is because I think that's how you say it to yourself. It's like you want to have a home filled with meaningful objects is what it's coming through as. You want to have a home as with meaningful objects. And so it's really difficult for you to let go of things because you're like, what if this is a fucking meaningful object? Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like that aesthetic when you walk into somebody's house and they're like, well, and like this snow globe is from Paris when like I met blah 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 and this happened and then whatever. Like, and you're like, oh, um, I want to be like that. Okay, where's your snow globe from? You know what I mean? Like, okay, so there's some stuff in your house that bless, okay? We're trying, but maybe it's time to let go of some things. Because here's a new thought for you. Um, I'm just cracking up because this is really me too. Like you can't even really see this room. It's okay. I'm listening. So get rid of your shit because other shit's coming anyway, is what I'm saying. Like, okay, it's not like when you get rid of an object, you remove a memory. Okay. I don't know if you knew that. But what's your process of memory retrieval is what we first need to ask ourselves. What's your process of memory retrieval and Like, really, what is it? Because for me, it's not pictures, it's scents. It's the smells, right? So if I want to remember something, if I want to remember somebody, if I just have something that smells like them, got it. I'll be right back in there. But I think we need to ask ourselves a few questions here. There's a lot of questions, but I have some questions. What are you doing? Why are you time traveling back in time so often? Why do you feel like that is something you need to do? What are you so scared of? Why is the future terrifying to you? What are we collecting all of these relics from a bygone time for when you all you've been saying is that you want to move into a new timeline? I don't know. This isn't I'm not trying to, criticize you collecting things. This is you to you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Um, Now would be a good time to get rid of whatever the things that you know need to go can go, and just know that you will collect more objects to fill your home. And a little bit more intentionally, probably, a little bit more intentionally. You can have that witchy, maximalist aesthetic. Just get rid of the things that trigger you into a previous version of yourself, if you can. Because do you really want a reminder of that in your energetic space? These two cards, the spider and the truth, cannot land for you until you address this. But once you address it, I think you will be shook by how quickly fresh new ideas land into your precious, pristine brain. How the alignment feels so aligned and everything is just brighter and sparklier and sounds better and feels better. It's just going to do a lot for you that you've been waiting to happen. There's some energy stuck, and it's stuck in the past, and it's tired of you looking at things and remembering things and feeling like you need to toss your energy back a few years ago or even 6 months ago. I don't know. Stop it. Stop fishing behind you. We're going ahead. Okay. That is your birch, and the last one is going to be elm. Right? We're all going to be like getting off here and looking around us, being like, all right, all of this has got to go. Trash days, Wednesday here. Well, Wednesday night here. So I have a whole fucking garage full of crap from the schoolhouse that I haven't unpacked. So maybe I'll get on that this week because I don't have anything else to do. All right. Let's see here. Oh, that's not a bad idea, but I don't even have the energy for that. I don't even have the energy for it. Tell me when you're ready for elm. Yeah, not today. All right. Um, Thank you. I love this mug too. I don't know who the artist is, but if you are local to me, it's from a shop in New Cumberland called Tickle My Senses, and she typically has a lot of pieces from this artist in there. Okay, here you go. Communication, the wasp, and the dragon again. Ooh, a lot of dragon lately. I'm here for that. That's very fiery. Okay, so ooh, I just want to say one more thing. about the previous poll. So I said, we're collecting things and, memories of people and places and all of that stuff and like letting go, letting go, letting go. Um, there are some things you do want to remember, and there are some people and feelings that you do want to remember. And I want you to remember that those, one of the functions of your heart is to hold those memories and to hold those feelings and even to allow them to grow and evolve. Okay. Your heart can hold all of those things. And sometimes the ritual, sometimes the ceremony is allowing that to happen. Sorry, I'm like really all over the place today. I'm not sorry, but like I'm just telling you because like I'm like I was sitting here shuffling these cards and like am I gonna cry? Maybe. But here's what I want to tell you. I'm gonna try to make the words make sense. I am a person, and see if you resonate with this. I am a person who, if I love you, right? I I love you, and it's never sat right with me to like break up with somebody and then say like, "Well, I don't love them anymore." Like, fuck that. Like, doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I'm never thinking about them again. It doesn't sit well with me because if I've let you into my heart and I've connected my energy with yours, right? No matter how fucked up our situation may have gotten at any point in time, I love you. And that I don't take that lightly. And there have been some relationships in my life where I had to walk away from them and it hurts, but it's for me. I needed to do it for me. But I keep the best parts of those relationships very safe in my heart. And they're kind of like in little snow globes, right? Like little capsules that I can visit if I want to, right? Where it's perfect because it's everything that we were and nothing that we became. And I get to visit that whenever I want to, and it's here with me. And I don't want to let go of those because those are the things that made me who I am today. And I don't believe we ever are weaker or lose anything by loving people. Okay. We can trauma bond. We can make decisions that are against our best interests. We can be selfish. We can be confused. We can be hurtful. But you don't have to get rid of love for people. You may never see this person again. You may never have a relationship with them again that makes any sense in physical reality. But my God, why would you ever let go of that love? I can't. I don't want to. Like, for fucking what? So it's always been so hurtful to me when I've released somebody, like when I have had to break up with somebody and, it just, they can't even look at me anymore, right? Because they're so angry that it's not physically present anymore. But I'm so quick, and maybe I'm too quick, but I'm so quick to jump into that space of, but I love you forever, right? And truly, as long as that person like hasn't like physically harmed me or like, mentally fucked me up too bad to where they're dangerous, there's never going to be a time where like you could always reach out to me if you need help with something. If you like always, like hands down. And that's how I am because that's just how I feel about it. And so just kind of backtracking to that card, you don't need to have a graveyard of relics to keep the love in your heart. Okay? Just remember that. It's in there if you allow it to be there. And it even, I would say, gains strength and nutrition from you loving more and expanding your heart more. Our hearts are not fragile. okay? They're not fragile, they're not small, they just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, don't be afraid to love. I think the whole narrative of being so protective of your heart and being afraid to love is meant to keep us very small and very narrow and to keep us away from our empathy and connection to each other. So, there's my TED Talk. Thank you. Let's roll on to what is it? Elm? What a ride this morning. Woof! I knew I was going to cry. It felt good. All right. So here we go. Communication, the wasp, and the dragon. Whew. Talk about Gemini, huh? So, all right, this is this is really we're shifting gears with this one, my friends. So, wasp is here again because you keep triggering people with your awesomeness, and man, they're getting tired of you, huh? But are you getting tired of them? Because there is a conversation that really needs to take place, friends, because whatever this wasp is, whoever it is, they're not going away, right? Sometimes when you ignore something annoying, like, a yellow jacket, it goes away. Other times it tenaciously wants to drive you insane. And that is what is happening right now. So there is an energy that is tenaciously trying to get at you. And you've been a little bit in a pacifist role here, saying like, I'm not gonna give energy to it, which sometimes is yes. But the trick is, what's the motivation to not giving energy to this? If it's fear based, then it's not powerful. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean by that? It's like, if the reason that you're ignoring and not engaging is because you have fear about engaging, that's not in your power. Do you see what I mean? Oh, wait. If you see what I mean, let me know. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Okay. So you need to look at that for yourself and figure out what is the reason that you are not engaging. And if it's from a fear based place, then we're looking at that. Okay. Um, there we go. Okay, cool. We get it. So with that being said, tapping into dragon energy is going to help you here. Tapping into that fire and expansive energy is going to help you here. Will you lose something by speaking? Yes. And I hope one of the things that you lose are the rest of your fucks. Because the thing is, we've held space a lot for people around us to say whatever the hell they want to say, whether it makes sense, whether it be kind, whether it be thoughtful at all to any point, right? How much space have you held in your lifetime for idiots to have a voice? Just think about it for a second. How much space have you held for the most mind numbing words and thoughts ever? And yet you over here are like, I can't I can't lend my voice to this because I don't want them not to like me. I don't want to cause a problem. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. I don't want to be uncomfortable. The list goes on and on. And meanwhile, these fuckers could literally give a shit. And then what happens? They can say anything they want, right? And then you're gonna be like, that's okay. Like, no worries. We'll just like pull the dagger out of here. It's fine. Just put a band-aid on it. It's like, you do you. You do you. No. All right. So pull that fire together and say what you need to say. If you hurt the wasp's feelings, good. What a pain in the ass is this energy anyway? It needs to be told off once and for all. Sometimes the problem with the wasp is that no one's told it how freaking annoying it is, right? No one's told it. No one's given it a quick hip check and been like, out of line, get your shit together, right? We all need that, right? Just like we all need that one friend who like loves us to death, but every once in a while will look at you and be like, being a real dumb bitch right now. And that's helpful, right? It's constructive. It's like, thank you. I was a little dizzy and I will pull it together because I trust you and I know you love me. Sometimes people need to be told about themselves. And it doesn't mean that you go all ape on them, but I'm just saying, whatever it is that you are tolerating still, if it's from a place of um, peace, and peace meaning I'm going to hold all the energy here and sacrifice my peace of mind to not make more waves, we need to look at that. I mean, look where we are, smack dab in the middle of the holidays. This is like the climate to be triggered in that space. So it makes sense that it's coming up. But there you go. There's your trees for this morning with the side of literally everything else going on in my brain. Happy full moon in Gemini. We almost stayed on here for a full hour, which is not the norm, really. It's usually 30 minutes. So, what a time. I love you guys. I will be back on Friday at 10, and I will see my normalized magic friends on Wednesday. Thank goodness, right? I love you guys. You know what you can do for me if you have a minute, because I'm really fucking up my social media by posting about Palestine and Gaza all the time. Like and share my stuff. Comment anything you want on any of my things, even if they're old things. Um, Liking my stories is an easy one, but just sharing and commenting on anything that you can will really help me to kind of at least maintain what I've created. Not even trying to grow it. You know what I'm saying? All right, friends, take care. See you soon. All right, and let's see. I've got to unplug my mouse so I can say goodbye to you. Goodbye.